Operation Red Snow, Germany, turn 3. So the first thing we're going to do is we're now at phase 3 in production. So from my understanding of the rules, I have to roll a die. If I get roll a 6 on a 6-sided die, I spend 6 IPCs and I immediately move to active. And if I spend less, then I go into holding and I have to spend those IPCs. And if I do get active, I don't have to reveal my technology until I actually use it, but I can use it on this turn. So that's what I'm going to do first. So I roll a 2, so that means I was hoping to spend 6, but so I moved to holding. And I spend 2 IPCs. So I had a total of 49. So right now I've spent 43. Subtract 2 from 49 is 47. So I have an additional 4 that I'm allowed to spend because R&D wasn't, the German scientists just didn't get their act together to do the proper R&D. Oh well, so we have 3 tanks, 2 mech, 1 infantry, 1 destroyer, and 1 fighter for turn 3 production. And also, Mussolini had this great idea to invade Tunisia. However, a quick call from Hitler, and the Italian flag is being, they were just at the border. They had the flag out, but they've taken the flag down and they've moved back to Libya. So I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. Also, I have some cool oil derricks here. So looking forward to visiting those oil derricks soon with the German Wehrmacht. So on to turn 3. So we're going to do our combat move first. So one thing you'll see is I have some transports. So I've decided instead of putting a marker under my bombers, I will just use these transport units just because I have them. And I think they look kind of cool. So now we're going to do our combats. We have quite a number of combats here. So this submarine in the English Channel is going to move and sit off the coast of Liverpool and start to sink ships there. We recognize that the U.S. is making a bunch of noises about the Atlantic Ocean and patrolling in Season 102, but we're going to stay in Season 106 and continue to sink ships. We're not very happy about this Lend-Lease coming to Russia, so we're going to send this German destroyer up and have a conversation with this Russian submarine in conjunction with this U-boat, and we're also going to send this fighter avoiding Sweden, 1, 2, 3. So we're moving that fighter up, and we'll have 1 movement left to do that combat movement. And then the other thing we're going to be doing is with our transports, we're going to be attacking Ukraine. So we have 2 transports flying in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're going to be taking with them 4 infantry. So I'm going to be setting this up in the battle board in a minute. And so they'll have 3 movement left. I'm also moving in these tanks, so we go through Bessarabia and thank our Italian colleagues for opening the way. So we're attacking with 6 tanks in Bessarabia, along with those 4 paratroopers. And we're flying in 3 tacticals. So we'll have 2 movement left on these 2 tacticals. And we'll have 1 movement left on the other tactical. So all 3 are flying in. We're also invading Western Ukraine. So all these units are moving in, with the exception of 3 units from Eastern Poland are going to go into the Baltic states. So we have a total of 3 infantry going in there. The rest are going into Western Ukraine, along with the AA gun. And we have 2 planes coming in to support this attack from Germany. So they have 2 movement left. These 4 tanks are going to sit here and wait for developments, along with these units here. They're going to be taking advantage of the rail line. There's a total of 5 units that can move by rail through and actually move 3 spaces. That's something interesting that I've been reading the rules about. And the other white ones are just to remind me that I'm going to be moving units. We have to, I'm not sure if it's a combat move to move out of Vichy, France, or non-combat, but I'll do that movement when in its time. We don't want to violate the Vichy Agreement. We almost did it with the Italians. We're not going to make the same mistake as the Germans. So I think I've completed all my combat moves. These transports are going to stay there for now, and let's get on with our combat. First one we're going to do is the Baltic states. So we have 3 German infantry versus 3 Russian infantry, but we also have support. So we have a fighter and a tactical paired with a fighter, and we can't use our target select because we can't target select infantry. Okay, so we're going to do our shots first. So we've got 3 infantry unsupported, plus a tactical supported and paired with a fighter. So we have a total of 5 rolls, and I have to get 3 hits. I'm actually going to add another plane from Germany just to make this guaranteed. So this additional German fighter from Germany will have 1 movement left. So we have an additional die from that fighter from Germany. It's a total of 6. Even though I added that fighter, we only did 1 casualty, so that was embarrassing. The Russians fire back. They have 3, and they miss. So obviously they were cowed by all that mighty air power going at them. So now there's 2 Russian infantry left, and I still have my 6. Oh my goodness, and I still only kill 1. We've got to get training on these Luftwaffe people. So the Russians fire back. They have 2 shots. They get 1 hit on the Germans. So now firing again, we still have our Air Force, and we just have 2 German infantry this time. And this time we actually get the job done. So we have 1 Russian firing back, and they miss. So a little prolonged, but we got the job done. So Baltic states is back under German rule. So as I mentioned, there's 2 movement and 1 movement for the one that came from Germany. So I got that on there. Now we're going to do the one in Ukraine, the big battle. So the first thing I have to do, because I have planes flying in, including transports, they get the anti-aircraft. There's 2 anti-aircraft units. So you actually get a shot at each one. I can allocate the hits, but it's nerve-wracking that they could potentially shoot down a transport. So here we go. And they score 1 hit, so 1 tactical is gone. My transports are protected by the valiant efforts of the Luftwaffe. So I can actually move my transports over to the transport column. So I have 2 fighters coming in. Four infantry. And the tacticals, because they are paired with a tank, they can actually hit at a 4. I just realized, because they are paired with tanks, as long as the tanks survive, I guess. So here are the tanks, 6 tanks coming in. So we have 2 Russian artillery. The AAs, of course, are going to sit on the side. They're going to be used as casualties, I'm sure. We've got 2 Russian tanks. We've got an aircraft. We have 5 Russian infantry. So I think we've got them all on the board. Here we go. And it actually says I can use transports as casualties, but, well, we'll see how the rolls go. That's all I can say. So the Germans, they have 2 tacticals. 2 tacticals, 6 tanks. 6 tanks and 4 at 1. So I actually don't have enough blue dice. 4 at 1. So I'll be rolling an extra blue die. And I have to get a whack of hits. Okay, so 2 tactical, 5 tanks. We'll roll an additional 1 later, and then that's the 4 for the infantry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So very well. Good shooting for the Germans so far. So that's 5 hits on the Russians. Now we're going to see if that one last tank can make a difference. So that's 5 hits. I think you can see that. And an additional hit. So we get a total of 6 hits from the Germans. And now here comes the Russians. So they have 1 fighter. They have 2 tanks. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infantry. 5 infantry, 2 artillery. So that should be a total of 1, 2, 3, 3 and 5 is 8, 9, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there we go. So we're rolling for the Russians. So they get a total of 2 hits. So not so good for the Russians. Good for the Germans. 2 hits on the Germans. So I take off 6. So it's 2 anti-aircraft for the Russians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I take off 6 Russians. And I take off 2 for the Germans. So that's 2 paratroopers. And we will continue with the battle. So for the Germans, we have the same amount of tanks, and we have 2 infantry, and we have 2 tactical paired with the tanks because we haven't lost any tanks. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4 so far, 4 hits so far. And I'm going to roll for that last tank because he only had 5 blue dice. We can get a hit with him. We do not. So a total of 4 hits on the Russians. And the Russians fire back. So they have a total of 1 fighter, 2 armor, and 2 artillery and an infantry. Here we go. So that should be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 6 units here. And they get a total of 2 hits. Okay, so taking the losses off. So off the Russians, we have we're going to take off the 2 artillery and the infantry and 1 tank. That's 4, and on the Germans we'll take off the other infantry, so the poor paratroopers are getting massacred, but that's their job. The transports are going to fly away knowing they've done their duty. So now we're going to fire. This time we have 2 tacticals paired with 6 tanks. And even with that, without that extra roll for the tank, they're all dead. The Russians are dead. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Just roll 1 more. No, 4 hits, or 5 hits, but that's all we needed. We only needed 2 hits. And the Russians fire back. They have a fighter and a tank. And they score 2 hits. Ouch. Okay, so they decided to really hit back. Okay, so Battle Ukraine is over. So the Germans if I get that in the frame there. So I have 4 tanks left to take Ukraine. And I have these 2 guys left, and they have 2 movement left. Okay, we're going to do the attack on the Russian sub. So we have a fighter, a submarine, and a destroyer against a Russian submarine. So we have a fighter, which attacks at a 3, and a submarine and a destroyer, which attack at a 2. So oh boy, we really killed that Russian sub. We didn't like that Russian sub. The Russian sub fires back and misses. So now we're going to do our non-combat. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this tank leave Vichy and move. I wish you could use rail, but they're hostile neutral, so I don't think they'll allow me to use the rail. So I can go to Yugoslavia. The fighter in Western Germany can go to southern Italy down here to join that other fighter. The tank in Holland, Belgium is going to go into Paris. I ran out of artillery units, so the Holland, Belgium, we're gonna move the 2 artillery from Normandy, and I can actually go 3 because I'm on a friendly factory. So I'm going to move this artillery over to here. and I can rail these units in Berlin. So I got a total of 4 tanks. I can go 3, 1, 2, 3, so I can be in Bessarabia. And I can move 2 more. So I'm going to move an artillery and an infantry into Bessarabia as well. So let me quickly get some markers so I don't lose track of who's who here. Okay, so this is a from the first generation game. That's an artillery unit. I know it looks a little bit like an AA, but it's an artillery unit. It's a skinny guy. This infantry here. Okay, so I just railed this one to here. I moved an infantry and artillery. I can move a maximum of 5 from that location. Also from Romania, I can move in an AA. Going to have to land these fighters as well. So I can land these 2 fighters into Slovakia, Hungary, the fighter and the TAC. And the other one has 1 movement. So I will put him in Poland. The infantry in Slovakia, Hungary can go 1 into eastern Poland. The infantry in Romania can go into Bessarabia, as well as the anti-air and the other artillery. And I knocked down my infantry there. Got to put him back. I have to land these tacticals. So they're going to go in Romania. And I have these other infantry. They're also going to go into Bessarabia. I want to put 1 in eastern Poland. Not really. We're going to put them all in Bessarabia. I have the tank that moved to Yugoslavia. So I moved everything. I have to land this plane. It lands in Norway. So I think I moved. Oh, I have to move my transports back. So the transports are going to go to Slovakia, Hungary. No, actually, they're going to go into Germany. Yeah, I don't really have a choice. Well, actually, I could go into Bessarabia. You know what? I'm going to go in Bessarabia. So I have my 2 transports in Bessarabia. Okay, so now I get to put on my production. Three tanks are going to go into Romania. 2 mechs are going to go into Germany. Sorry, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put a tank and a mech in Germany and 2 tanks and a mech in Romania. And I have an infantry, I have a fighter I can put in Germany, a destroyer I can put in C-Zone 113, and an infantry I can put in Paris. Okay, so disposition of forces. I have 1 sub in 106, 1 sub in 109, a sub in destroyer in 126, an airplane, a fighter in Norway. I have an artillery in Normandy, an artillery in Holland, Belgium. I have 3 AA and a fighter in Western Germany. I have a cruiser, a destroyer, and 2 transports in 113. I have 2 infantry in Baltic states, 1 infantry in eastern Poland, 1 infantry, or sorry, 8 infantry in Western Ukraine, 3 artillery, and 1 AA. I have in Romania, I have 2 tanks, 1 mech, 2 tacticals. In Slovakia, I have a tactical and a fighter. Yugoslavia, I have a tank. Southern Italy, I have a fighter. Ukraine, I have 4 tanks. And I think I'm out of time, so I'm going to do my disposition, or sorry, my IPC count in an email. Thank you very much.